What's up, friends? How you doing? So with me for the first time for a collab is my good friend and a fellow member of the Copy Shop Villains, Jobber Godot. How you doing?
What's up, everybody? It's your lawyer.
Jobber Godot. And I brought him for a special occasion, and it has to do with, his specialty JoJo, because we have quite the interesting matchup here tonight, folks. We have who is the worthy bringer of King and Crimson together, who is most powerful, and JoJo will be represented by Jobber with King Crimson, am I correct?
Yes.
And then afterwards I will do the Crimson King from the Stephen King universe, most likely the Dark Tower. So I will hand it off to Jobber first. Also, wait, of course, check out the Coffee Shop Villains. Descriptions down below. Jobber is great. He's one of them. So, without further ado, take it away, Jobber, with King Crimson.
Alright, so I'm going to be representing my client, which is Diablo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm going to make sure this is very simple, straight to the point, right? He has a stand called King Crimson. He can erase time for about 11 to 12 seconds, and he views time from he's erasing time. He views it from a 4D perspective or a fourth dimensional perspective, right? It's kind of like editing a video, just edit some parts out. It's like how things just skip together, kind of like that. Except also when he's inside his, erase time, he's completely invulnerable and stuff like that. I think I even have a visual representation that I provided in the scans, but you can just see exactly what he does animated. It's better to see that. He also has two souls living inside his body. Diablo himself's the dominant soul, and then he has another one called Doppio, which is innocent but not really, And whenever the souls just swap into inside his body literally physically changes. He becomes a monster or some shit. How they communicate is through these phone calls. Diablo also has an ability called Epitaph. He can see the future for 10 seconds, right? It's pretty OP. It's not a multiple future kind of thing, right? Where it's multiple possible outcomes. No, it's just a single straight. This is 100% gonna happen future. Next we've got Diablo. Before he even acquired a stand, he boloed and burnt down an entire town just to keep his identity secret. It's a pretty wild feat, honestly. Now King Crimson, in terms of scaling, so King Crimson, he absolutely faded Silver Chariot with 0 difficulty. And what's important about this is that there's some calcs for Silver Chariot, right? Silver Chariot's a large town level in terms of calcs, and the Sun calc where he deflects its beams, and he's also taking damage from characters like JoJo and stuff like that. And he doesn't win, but he still takes hits, so this defines his large town levels ability. And King Crimson just one-shots him, so you can put him in a small city in terms of attack potency if you want. He also kill Polnareff too. Now, another thing I would like to add in terms of Diablo's erase time is that, keep in mind, this is a hacks, right? But if I can really go there in terms of giving it actually a solid highball, which Araki himself, in terms of putting characters at certain pedestals of power. Keep in mind that when I say it's a low 4D ability, I'm not joking, right? Because the author himself said that certain stands dominate space and time. He said this in one of the guidebooks. So that includes, abilities like King Crimson, for example, erasing time. So dominating time, space and time, implies mastery over the fourth dimension, and you could get that to 5D. That's just a highball. God said, normally his ability just low 4D.
Oh, snap.
That is all for King Crimson.
Uh-oh. Crimson King might be scared, bro. He's got some 5D. Let's see.
I should, man.
Okay. So, now, I will be representing the Crimson King from the Kingverse. So, to begin, the Crimson King was one of the first beings to be formed out of the Prim, which is the pure pool of creation to which Gon first sprung from, and to spin the Dark Tower to be the King Multiverse, and in return for a time the Crimson King was like trapped in the Prim following, wishing to destroy the tower to rule the multiverse and freeze others. So he was around before the multiverse even took form within the tower. If the Crimson King is to be successful, he should technically hold the power to also destroy Gon himself, for the tower and Gon are one and another. The second being to have ever spawned within the verse, the Dark Mage Merlin, came from the Outer Dark, a place of pure darkness which was sated to stand above the Prim itself. Merlin used the water of Gon's creation to form a mirror, which wounded Gon to unthinkable degrees, yet the tower stood strong. Keep in mind the tower withstood this assault before Gon even assigned the 12 Guardians to reinforce the tower, with them connecting the multiverse together even stronger. I bring this up for the Crimson King holds the potential to destroy the tower with the Guardians present, not having to come from the higher Outer Dark, and not having to use Gon's higher creation against him. The Crimson King is just that broken. Although Merlin's attacks were ultimately unsuccessful, he did succeed in causing a perpetual pattern of those like choosing good versus evil within the King multiverse. This serves the Crimson King, for once he was born from the Crimson Queen and Arthur Eld within the tower, he then embodied all evil within the tower, and therefore all the multiverse. He's literally the Antichrist and the devil, the one who ruins dreams and enjoys suffering with all. He holds 6 or 7 out of the 13 spheres of creation which are crucial to the beings of the Dark Tower taking form, including that of the Black, which holds Todash space entirely, and was the cause of the book The Mist. Gon holds the remainders, and it isn't surprising that the Crimson King is a threat to Gon, with like the similar distribution of orbs. To make it quick, if you want to know how impressive this is, like that he can relate to Gon, I know a lot of you know Trueform Penny. Trueform Penny is nothing but a small thought within Gon's mind. Gon can like shout throughout the Macroverse, and Penny could only see Gon as the other. He couldn't even perceive him. And keep in mind, Penny terrifies Stephen King, and Penny is irrelevant to Gon. In this context, however, King also doesn't believe he can support the Dark Tower. What he has written is far too strong to change via his narrative, but the Crimson King can, so the Crimson King is far beyond the author which made everything. For some extra impressive drip points, you can't see the Crimson King's higher form or your brains will bleed out of your ears. Or, whenever the Crimson King opens his mouth, a baby within the multiverse violently dies in their crib. Remember that humans in the King multiverse are bare minimum in the hyperversal range. They are hyperversal for alongside the tower holding the idea of time. To end off, let's look at oh boy, this is a doozy. Let's take a look how we can scale them through the tower's idea of size. Feel free to pause and read this crazy shit over, but some examples could include each pencil tip holding trillions of demon planets, making its way to the edge of the universe, equaling the distance of how a chick sees their egg, or trillions of universes within each other, contained within each grain of sand in a desert. So they're walking on trillions of universes with every grain of sand. And that is just humans. So yeah. That is just a rough scaling for the Crimson King. There's far more, but yeah, I think he might reach 5D. I don't know. But I think my calculations may be far into boundless, but we can consult now. So let's King Crimson wanted to be the real Crimson and King, and we say he pulled up on the Crimson King. What do you think would happen?
What do I think would happen?
Yeah.
I think Diablo one-shots. I'm just kidding. Nah, bro. Literally just Crimson King picks up a leaf and throws it at Diablo and kills him.
True.
Existence conceptual eraser just dead.
Those are the unfortunate facts for the King Crimson. He is a valiant opponent, but against the Crimson King, just reverse the names and you just have a far into boundless being. But we just thought this would be a silly, kind of interesting, and even though it ended up being mismatched, and definitely informational video on both sides, since they're both very interesting characters. Your thoughts, Jobber? Do you like the Crimson King? It's cool, right?
I mean, he's pretty boss, bro.
I don't know. He's give a fuck. So yeah, maybe I'll do a Crimson King video down the line since the lore is insane. But yeah, I think that concludes it. A nice swift battle. He just whacks him with a leaf or something, or just he bleeds out of his ears once he sees him. But yeah, I think that does it. Jobber, I thank you very much for coming on for a collab. I hope to be on your channel for a collab soon. We can make something happen.
No problem, man. Yeah, you'll definitely be on the channel, man.
Dope. And until then, see you guys later. And peace out.